Ham Fixin's Net, first and third Monday, 7 p.m., W5FC. W5FC.
net in about 2 minutes. November 5, Bravo, Bravo, net control. Mr. Chairman, I need to make myself very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That is correct, sir.
Skynet.
Good evening. The time is 9 p.m.
Zen 5 DD, my name is Bill, and I'll be at your net control for this session of the Dallas Amateur Radio Club's Skynet. Skynet is a weekly net called every Saturday night at 9 p.m. concerning the subject of astronomy. Our purpose is to help amateurs become more familiar with the nighttime and daytime sky, astronomy, and space in general. This net is open to all amateurs interested in this topic. We encourage your participation, your comments, and your suggestions for this net. Stations with priority emergency traffic may enter the net at any time using a # break in your call sign. This is a directed net. Please do not transmit without directions from net control. That would be me. Stations are reminded to identify the end of your transmission. This weekly net operates on 146.88 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9. You can also check in via Echolink using W5FC-R station ID or Echolink node 37247. Currently logged into Echolink so I can see any comments over there if anybody doesn't have an audio connection. Tonight's topics, astronomy charts, pictures, and live audio and video links are available online. Go to www.w5fc.org right now for the complete list. Remember to tell others about this popular net. You can now check in the net electronically by going to the club website, w5fc.org. Look for tonight's announcement and click on the hot link to check in. We'll acknowledge you in the air, and don't worry, you can also check in via voice or via text on email. If you can't get a microphone and you're on Echolink, just type in, check me in, and we'll do it that way. Currently, the following people are checked in: KE5ICX, A5JDW, who likes spaces. K5JDW, he's beside himself, so he's checked in twice. What a deal. NT5TM, Tony. KE5JIT, Randy. N5LIG, Dale. AA5AH, Robert. And I now see Travis, KF5PGM. Again, you can check in electronically by going to w5fc.org. Look for the link for the Skynet check-ins, or you can do it right here in just a moment. All amateur radio operators are welcome to this net. You do not need to be a member of any amateur radio club to participate. The net is 90 minutes long, structured in several parts. This is N5BB Skynet in progress. These parts are general announcements, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas, National Space Society, recent astronomical discoveries, the discussion topic of the evening, what's up in the nighttime sky, space exploration and space history, the constellation of the week, and if we have time, space launches for the week, visible satellite passages, and astronomical questions and answers. Again, all amateurs licensed to transmit on this frequency are invited to check in. I see two more people that are now here. We have KF5JHA, Chaz, with his sidekick operator, Bob the Cat. Everything that's done correctly, Chaz is responsible. Everything else, Bob the Cat's responsible. We have NZ5F. Hello, Virginia. Okay, let's see what else. Now, do we have any short-time check-ins? If you can't stay here very long, now's the time. Please check in now with your call sign, your name, and your location. This is N5BB Skynet. Short-time check-ins. Everybody must be thinking they're going to stay here a long time. Nothing heard. And I see nothing on Echolink. Now let's look for general check-ins on RF. We'll do Echolink later. Before I do the RF check-ins, the people currently checked in include now Cody, K5MCD, Bill, W5BLT, Virginia, NV5F, Chaz, KF5JHA, Travis, KF5PGM, Robert, A5AH, Dale, N5LAIG, Randy, KU5JIT, Tony, NT5TM, and John, K5JDW, twice, and Tom, KU5ICX. And now we also have Antonio. Hello, Antonio, AG9SG. If I did not call your call sign and you'd like to check in on RF, please do so now. Give us your call sign, your name, and your location. RF check-ins. This is N5BB Skynet. Go ahead.
This is Alpha Golf 5 Papa Mike, Rich and Rockwall, AG 5 p.m. Kilo 5 Golf Tango Charlie, Todd, East Dallas. So November 5, Echo, Echo, Echo. I'm Al in Allen, Texas. This is Whiskey Bravo 4 Mike Foxtrot Indy WB4MFI Ted Dallas Low Power Long Time. Alpha Bravo 5 Delta Mike Dustin and Dallas. Kilo Echo 5 Alpha Victor Echo Carl Dallas Garland.
Okay, hold on. Paul, that last station, Carl, let's give me your call sign again.
Kilo Echo 5 Alpha Victor Echo.
Okay, we got it, Carl, KE5AVE. Then going backwards, we have Dustin, AB5DM, Ted, WB4MFI, Al, KN5EEE, Todd, K5GTX, and Rich, PM. Do we have any other RF check-ins? If so, please come now. This is N5BB, Skynet in progress.
This is Todd. It's K5GTC. K5GTC. Sorry about that.
Okay, Todd, Kilo 5 Golf Tango Charlie, is that correct?
Roger that. K5GTC.
I'm sure it's my mistake, Todd. We got it. Okay, let me look here. Online, we have no additional check-ins. On Echolink, the only other stations I see is KJ5GOT, Kilo Juliet 5 Golf Oscar Tango. Would you like a check-in on voice on Echolink? If not, then at least give us your name and your location in text. KJ5GOT. Go ahead.
KJ5GOT, this is John in Dallas.
Good, John. We've got you, KJ5GOT. Thank you very much for checking in to our little net this evening. Okay. Do we have anybody else that would like to check in via any mode to Skynet? If so, please come now with your name, your call sign, your location. This is N5BB, Net Control. Okay, next it's time for announcements. Do we have any general announcements? These can be relating to amateur radio, astronomy, space, or something of interest to licensed hams. Could be local events, could be international events, could be out-of-this-world events. If so, please come now with your call sign only. Call sign only. Announcements. Go ahead.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike.
There he is, Tony, NT5TM. Since we've got a club meeting coming up, I thought somebody would be here to talk about that. And the Racy's training net also. Go ahead, Tony, NT5TM, N5BB.
Well, I seem to be having a repeater problem here, so I'm HT portable from the kitchen. Please join us to discuss a movie that's actually a great deal of fun. The Addams Family from 1991 is tonight's afterglow movie. We'll discuss it tonight at 10:35 or so on this repeater. Make some popcorn. Please join us. Remember, we'll be having a meeting on the air tomorrow at 7 p.m. local time. That's soon to be Central Standard Time instead of Central Daylight Time. And then we'll have a Racy's training net tomorrow at 8 p.m. local time. Only Racy's appointees can check in, but everyone is encouraged to listen. We're going to be talking about preparedness for public service events, of which there are a lot in the fall. don't forget that the DARC November meeting will be this coming Tuesday. Why not take a break from the overly excited political news in the media, which is very fatiguing, honestly? You could come here and learn about the latest version of the NetLogger software. David, KG5EIU, will be presenting our program, and NetLogger is pretty useful. We'll have more than anyone who's watching news on TV, I promise. More details, as always, are at w5fc.org. NT5PM, back to next.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, as everybody should realize, it takes a while for election results to be certified, especially when the overseas votes have to come in and be counted, and mail has to arrive, and all that kind of stuff. So it's never official for a while. Okay, we have some other announcements, and thank you very much, Tony. Other announcements, there's AMSAT, there's satellite nets that are available Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Time. All Tuesday evenings except for the first Tuesday of the month. So don't listen this coming Tuesday, but all other Tuesdays listen. At 8 p.m. Central, Tuesday evening, there is a national AMSAT net on, go look under groups on the AMSAT. That's asterisk, AMSAT asterisk, on Echolink. You can find out more at amsatnet.com. Also, on Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. on this repeater, you can find the AMSAT Net East, except for Tuesday, when, like I mentioned before, hopefully you'll be at the club meeting. So this repeater, 146.88 megahertz on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Also on Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. on the Arlington 147.14 megahertz repeater with a 110.9 megahertz positive tone and a positive offset, the AMSAT West Night. So again, two local amateur radio satellite nets, 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening, except for the first month, 9 o'clock on Wednesday evening. The first one's on this repeater, the second one on the Arlington 147.14 repeater. The Dallas Amateur Radio Club has a number of nets on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Check the w5fc.org website. The one coming up here this coming Monday, 2 days from now, is the Ham Fixings Cooking Net. Bring your favorite or new recipes, cooking tips, or techniques. Other things going on the other Mondays. Friday night, we used to have the CERT net. I thought that was taken off, but it's back on the script. Does anybody know if the CERT net is meeting again on Friday evenings? If so, please come down. Because it was on the script, but it was taken off, but it seems to be back on. So who knows, maybe Melissa is starting back up the CERT net on Friday evenings at 8 o'clock on this repeater. You might listen. Maybe it'll be there, maybe it won't. Saturday is a night of nets. There's all kinds of repeaters of nets on this repeater. We have TechNet from 7 till about 8 p.m. We talk about all things amateur radio related. This has to do with technical things, has to do with operating, news, you name it. From 9 until 10:30 p.m. on Saturday evenings, we have Skynet. That's this net. Astronomy, space exploration. Then at 10:30 p.m. on Saturdays, like tonight, We have the Afterglow movie net, where we talk about a movie. And the one this evening is going to be the Addams Family. Tom, K5JIT, you want to tell us about the Addams Family? This is N5BB Negatron. Excuse me, K5ICX. I may have used the wrong call sign.
Well, of course, Bill, I will do exactly that. Tonight's movie, as Tony mentioned, is The Addams Family. Here's my very accurate synopsis. Barry Sonnenfeld had barricaded himself in his trailer outside the soundstage. He could hear rustling outside, and eventually a blowhorn pierced the nervous ruckus. This is Paramount Pictures. Your movie has been bought by us from Orion Pictures. Come out with the $5 million you owe us from cost overruns. Again, this is Paramount Pictures speaking. We want our money. Also, we do not take personal checks. These people meant business, and since Barry had spent the extra $5 million on booze, they were kind of right about wanting their money back. Another announcement. This is David Levy. You do not have the intellectual rights to the Addams Family. I do. Come out with your hands up and with your script in hand where I can see them. Do so, or you will suffer the consequences. That too. Things were getting worse. Angelica Houston was on the line, and she had some complaints about her Velcro face implants. So join us tonight for the movie that almost didn't get made, The Addams Family from 1991 at 10:30. Back to you, Bill, KE5ICX.
Thank you very much, Tom. By the way, a hum has been inserted on your signal. I don't know if it's on your end or on the radio end, but if you're near a big transformer, you might move away from it. Don't know what's causing it, but maybe it's a power supply problem. Hum kind of thing. Okay. We can understand you, though. Okay. Tom says that he doesn't think that the CERT-NET is meeting on Friday evening, so maybe we need to take that back off the script. Every evening at 6:30 p.m., except for every evening at 6:30 p.m., there is a local National Traffic System training net. Nearly all evenings, it's on this repeater, 146.588. On the first Tuesday evening of the month, we have a Dallas Image Radio Club meeting, which is going on, the board meeting at 6:30. We moved the traffic net, training net to the Irving 146.72 megahertz repeater. Also, every evening at 9:30 p.m., there's a late DFW traffic net at 146.72 megahertz Irving repeater. All are welcome to check in on any of these nets. Just please listen so you check in the proper time when it's requested. Okay, now what I'm going to do is look for more check-ins. I see online we now have Clay in 50F. Hello, Clay. Thanks for checking in. A regular. I don't see anybody else on Echolink. Do we have any other check-ins to Skynet before we move ahead with the net? This is N5BB. Okay. Chaz, are you really here? If you're really here, do you want to read the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events information? KF5JHA N5BB. Are you here, Chaz? Paging Chaz.
Well, I'm here, but I'm usually beside myself. Oh, and Bob the Cat has left the building, so he might be back later on. Yes. Slide Master, slide number 1. The next Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas Club meeting will be held on Friday, November the 15th, The meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. in person at the University of Texas at Dallas, and also held on Zoom. I'm not sure how they're going to do the Zoom feature for what the meeting will be doing, but we're going to be doing a swap meet. It'll be interesting to do that over Zoom. Anyway, Saturday night public observing sessions continue. Skynet was picked to be on Saturday night, so there could be an opportunity for live reports from the Texas Astronomy Society of Dallas public observing sessions. Now, on the first Saturday of the month, that would be tonight, stargazing is held at Fairview. Unfortunately, tonight's stargazing was canceled due to clouds. Now, you can check the TASS website at texasastro.org for up-to-date information and details about meetings and public observing sessions. Yeah, there was a scheduled ghost hunt looking for faint fuzzy things in the sky tonight from TASS, but that got postponed because of weather. This is KF5JJ, Vector and Net Control, N5BB.
Much chance finished before I got back into the ham shack here after refilling my iced tea glass. Okay. So does anybody have any questions or comments about the Texas Astronomical Society? Or do we have any additional check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet. Anybody else on Echolink or online check-ins? Next, we have National Space Society events. I happen to be the National Space Society North Texas Vice President and Membership Director. My email address is space@byron.net. That's SPACE at BYROM.net. Send me an email if you have any questions about the National Space Society, which is a nonprofit group based in the U.S., which is interested in the exploration and development of space and the creation of a spacefaring civilization. This is N5BB, Skynet. The North Texas chapter of the National Space Society meets at 3:30 p.m. on the second Sunday afternoon of each month. Meeting location is normally Spring Creek Barbecue on the southwest corner of Highway 183 and Beltline Road in Irving. The next meeting will be on Sunday, November the 10th. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. The speaker will be Professor Rhiannon Main, who is the curator of the Monig Meteorite Museum at TCU. Did you know we have a meteorite museum here locally? That's correct. And the curator will be presenting at our meeting on Sunday afternoon, November the 10th, here in Irving. The meeting in December of the group, our National Space Society, is going to be a holiday party at my house in 5BB Ham Shack in Irving. So if you'd like to attend that, contact me. On the last Friday evening of our speaker in December is going to be John Quinn, who is the CEO of Exos Aerospace. Did you know that we have a company in North Texas who manufactures rockets? Yes, Exos Aerospace out near Greenville. They test their rockets at Spaceport America in New Mexico. So he will be speaking to us about what's going on with Exos Aerospace. Again, that's the meeting in December for the National Space Society at my house in Irving. On the last Friday evening, this is N5BB, Skynet. On the last Friday evening of each month at 6 to 8 p.m., the National Space Society North Texas chapter sponsors a social event called Space Rendezvous. Location is Chitter's Restaurant, 700 West Highway 635 in Irving. Anyone is welcome to attend and discuss human activities in space with us. No membership in any group is required. The next space rendezvous will be held on Friday, November the 29th. That's right, the day after Thanksgiving. Our local National Space Society chapter website is ntx.nss.org. Our group also has an active Facebook page. Type National Space Society of North Texas into the search box on Facebook. If you have any questions about the National Space Society, please contact Bill, N5BB.
No.
It's November 5 Bravo Bravo at my email address, URZ. End of section. Does anybody have any questions about the National Space Society, or do we have any additional check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet in progress. Anybody additionally logging in, checking in online or on Echolink? So we will move ahead. Next we have recent astronomical discoveries. Tom, K5ACX, go right ahead. This is N5BB, Skynet, progress.
All right, very good. Thank you, Bill. This is KE5ICX. I'm reading Brenda's submission this week. She's out actually at a party this evening, so she asked me to read it, which I will do. This is Astrophysicists Solve Mystery of Last Unexplained Historical Supernova from 1181 AD. In 1181, a new star shone near the Cassiopeia constellation for 6 months before disappearing. This event, recorded as a guest star by the Chinese and Japanese observers almost a millennium ago, has puzzled astronomers for centuries. It is one of the few supernovae to be documented before the invention of telescopes. In addition, it remained an orphan, the longest, meaning that none of the celestial objects visible today could be assigned to it. Now known as supernova SN 1181, its remnant has only been traced in 2021 to the nebula PA 30, known in 2013 by amateur astronomer Dana Patchik, while examining an archive of images from the WISE telescope as part of a citizens' science project. But this nebula is not a typical supernova remnant. In fact, astronomers were intrigued to find a surviving zombie star at its center, a remnant within the remnant. The 1181 supernova is thought to have occurred when a thermonuclear explosion was triggered on a dense dead star called a white dwarf. Typically, the white dwarf would be completely destroyed in this type of explosion, but in this case, some of the stars survived, leaving behind a sort of zombie star. This type of partial explosion is called a type IAX supernova. Even more intriguingly, strange filaments emanated from this zombie star, resembling the petals of a dandelion flower. Now, ISTA Assistant Professor Illyria Ciazzo and lead author Tim Cunningham, a NASA Hubble Fellow at the Center for Astrophysics, Harvard and Smithsonian, gave an unprecedented close-up view of these strange filaments. The team around Cunningham and Ciazzo could study this strange supernova remnant in details thanks to the Caltech's Cosmic Web Imager, or KCWI. It is a spectrograph located about 4,000 meters at the WM Keck Observatory in Hawaii, near the summit of Mauna Kea volcano, Hawaii's highest peak. As its name implies, KCWI was designed to detect some of the faintest and darkest sources of light in the universe. collectively called the cosmic web. In addition, KCWI is so sensitive and smartly designed that it can capture spectral information for every pixel in an image. It can also measure the motion of matter in the stellar explosion, creating something like a 3D movie of a supernova. KCWI does so by examining how the light shifts while moving closer to or away from us, a physical process similar to the familiar Doppler shift we know from blaring sirens that change their tune as the ambulance races by. Thus, instead of only seeing a typical static image of a fireworks display common in an observation of supernovae, the researchers could build a detailed 3D map of the nebula and its strange filaments. In addition, they could show that the material in the filaments traveled ballistically at approximately 1,000 kilometers per second. This means that the ejected material could not have slowed down or sped up since the explosion, says Cunningham. Thus, from the measured velocities, looking back in time allowed us to pinpoint the explosion to almost exactly the year 1181. And that's it. That's what I got for you this evening. Back to you, Bill, KE5ICX.
Very good, Tom. Yes. I read about that at some different location. I can't remember what site I was looking at. Okay. Do we have any additional check-ins to Skynet? Questions or comments? This is N5BB. And by the way, Tom, you still have some hum. Any other check-ins? Go ahead.
Kilo Charlie 5, Mike 5 Oscar, Jamie, North Dallas.
Kilo 5, Juliet Delta Whiskey with a Chaz question.
Recognize Jamie, KC5MPO. John, K5JDW. John, go right ahead with your question.
This story reminded me of something I saw about 2 weeks ago on a show in reference to the demise of our own sun. I'd always been of the belief that when it hisses out of helium and stuff, expands for a while, loses gravity, collapses, etc., becomes a white dwarf or something like that. And then this show is thinking that there's a different scenario, that ours might be one of those stars that collapses, and because it has so much carbon creates a diamond. Just wanted to run that by Chaz, K5JDW, for anybody.
Okay, Chaz, what do you say to that? 5BB.
Thank you, John. I have not heard that report. In fact, the sun isn't going to produce carbon according to the current understandings that we have. So, nope. If it produces carbon, it could collapse enough to turn the carbon into diamonds, but that's not what's currently accepted. Okay. Interesting. I'll have to look up that article. Thank you, John. KF5JJ.
Okay, do we have any additional comments, questions, or check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet. Seen on Echolink or online check-ins. Next, we have the discussion topic of the evening by myself. The topic is the International Space Station has been leaking. It's leaking air for 5 years or more. The pesky leaks on the International Space Station aren't the most serious issue that's facing it. This is N5BB, Skynet. This is all from Scientific American, written by Megan Bartels. And I'll apologize, the changing weather means I've got some allergy-induced sinus drainage, and so my throat is a little scratchy. So I may be stopping stopping every once in a while to get a sip of iced tea. In the hostile conditions beyond Earth, a spacecraft is all that stands between an astronaut and certain death. So having years-long, seemingly unfixable leaks on the International Space Station, the ISS, sounds like a nightmare scenario. It's also a reality, one that a recent agency report called a top safety risk. Amid months of headlines about astronauts stranded by Boeing's Starliner vehicle and NASA's announcement of a contract with Elon Musk's SpaceX to destroy the ISS early next decade, the ongoing concerns about the leaks come as another reminder that supporting a long-term population in space is a challenge that's quite literally out of this world. Simultaneously, the station's links are mundane, perhaps shockingly so for those of us who are neither engineers nor astronauts. When you're on the space station, it's like your life here, says Sandra Magnus, an engineer for the Georgia Institute of Technology and a former NASA astronaut who previously served on NASA's Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel, an independent panel that monitors safety concerns. You don't run around in your daily life and wonder if you're going to get hit by a car when you cross the street, right? It's your life. You just live your life. This is N5BB Skynet. The disconcerting truth is that the ISS leaks some air every day, and it always has. All spacecraft leak, says David Klaus, an aerospace engineering professor at University of Colorado Boulder. The space station is just the most high-profile spacecraft there is. It's leaking more now than it used to. It's indeed leaking more, but still not all that much, says Michael Kazarian, an adjunct professor of astronautical engineering at the University of Southern California. The current leak is bigger than a pinhole, maybe 2 pinholes, he says. You're talking about something relatively small. The worst rate of leakage shared publicly comes from April, when the station was losing 3.7 pounds of atmosphere per day. For context, all the air above any given square inch on the Earth's surface is sea level, stretching all the way up to the end of the atmosphere, weighs on average a bit shy. So this is 3.7 pounds of atmosphere per day that's leaking out. It's not even particularly surprising to experts that NASA and the international partners that run the space station have had so much trouble tracking down and fixing the leaks. Leaks are hard to sort out, Magnus says. The station is huge. There's a large volume of air, so trying to isolate a teeny tiny leak or anything that's not leaking a lot is hard. Much of the station's hull is also difficult to access from inside because of the sheer amount of equipment, cargo, and general stuff cluttering its corridors. Don't panic yet. This is N5BB Skynet Net Control. The troublesome leaks. The troublesome leaks, which were first detected in September 2019, were traced to a tunnel in the Russia Zvezda ZVE-ZDA service module, which launched in July 2000. The tunnel connects a docking port to the main part of the module and to the rest of the space station. Magnus describes the tunnel as the back porch, mainly used to store trash scheduled for incineration in Earth's atmosphere. Astronauts have had some luck over the years tracking down precise locations where the station is losing air. They've even tried to patch the tunnel up. In theory, spacecraft leaks are straightforward to seal from the inside. All you have to do is get something up against that leak with some sort of adhesive, and it becomes self-forcing up against the leak. The pressure in the spacecraft helps to hold the seal against the leak. But these patch efforts have only reduced the flow of the leaks rather than eliminating them entirely. While astronauts in ground control continue their troubleshooting, NASA and its Russian counterpart, Roscosmos, have decided to keep the leaky tunnel's hatch closed when possible. It's an elementary solution, but a reasonable one, Magnus says, given the back porch's relatively low importance. As long as the leaks stay steady, the only real issue is that astronauts may need more frequent or larger deliveries of air, which one of the many so-called consumables, such as food and water, that cargo vehicles supply to the station. This is N5BB, Skynet in progress. Long term, should the leaks worsen, the stopgap strategy can become a permanent one without serious impact, all three experts say. Losing access to the port on the tunnel's far end would be inconvenient, requiring tighter coordination of the crew and cargo vehicles that visit the orbiting laboratory and the material they deliver. They'll have to sharpen their pencils in the logistics community and figure out how to compensate, Magnus says of this scenario. Is it going to be a disaster? No. Is it going to be a little more challenging? Perhaps. Even that approach comes with its own complications. According to the September report, NASA and Roscosmos disagree on the threshold at which the leaks will become serious enough to necessitate shutting the hatch permanently. Still, the leaks themselves, while far from ideal, are essentially under control. No one should be panicking, Magnus says. It's a serious problem, and they're taking it seriously. That's really the bottom line. This is N5BB, Skynet net control. Wear and tear. The leaks, however, are also a nagging reminder of how long the ISS has been in orbit. The oldest segments launched in 1998. Since then, they have endured a host of stressors. Spacecraft arrive and depart, rockets push the ever-sinking laboratory higher above Earth, and materials degrade from exposure to cosmic radiation. By the way, don't forget micrometeorites also. The sun's heat comes and goes 16 times every day as the station swoops over Earth's night side and day side, causing its components to expand and shrink each time. Sooner or later, hopefully later, the toll of all that mechanical stress will manifest in something more serious than pinpoint leaks. We know that the space station cannot be up there forever, Kazarian says. It's a little bit easier with an old house to paint and replace components that fail. Home repair in a space outpost is more expensive and more finicky, and at some point, entropy will win out. This is N5BB, Skynet control. NASA hopes that won't happen this decade and aims to keep the space station operational through 2030. Russia has so far only committed to the orbiting laboratory through 2028, which is in a little over 3 years, not that far away. But the leak challenges give additional urgency to a concern that the Airspace Safety Advisory Panel has been raising for years. If the orbital laboratory will fail before it can be safely destroyed, and will fall uncontrolled through Earth's atmosphere, with its debris potentially doing serious damage to people and buildings. Earlier this year, NASA commissioned SpaceX to develop a vehicle to safely deorbit the space station in 2031, targeting a 2029 launch. That's a very tight timeline for a program of this scale, so the anxiety continues. This is N5BB, Skynet Net Control. By the way, the plan is SpaceX is taking a Dragon capsule and modifying it. On the bottom of it, they're going to put some additional engines. So there'll be a ring of many more engines down at the bottom. I think it's called the service. I don't know if they call it the service module, whatever they call the ring down at the bottom. They're going to put a bunch of additional rockets down there. And so what they're going to do is send it up in 2029, and then only 2 years later, they're going to get everybody off the ISS, and they're going to use that SpaceX capsule with rockets on it to slowly bring the ISS lower in the atmosphere, where it starts to have a lot more friction, and then at a certain critical point, they'll give it a huge thrust to slow it down dramatically so it falls down into the Pacific Ocean. That's comments from me, N5BB. A second ticking clock looms over the agency. In whatever condition the space station meets its fiery doom, it will leave the U.S. with no viable long-term orbital habitats. NASA officials have spent years promoting the idea that companies will take over low Earth orbit by launching and maintaining space stations to continue the ISS's 24-year streak of continuous human occupation. This is N5BB, Skynet in progress. Abandoning orbit again. In 2020, NASA contracted Texas-based Axiom Space, they're based down in the Houston area, to construct the first habitable, commercially built module on the station, which the company is hoping to launch in 2026, and to then undock to fly free when the space station retires. In 2021, NASA also awarded funding to companies, including Washington State-based Blue Origin, owned by Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and Texas-based NanoRacks, to develop additional commercial destinations in space. NASA has said that Axiom's module is under construction and that components of Blue Origin's station have undergone testing. Progress remains slow. Company representatives for each station that were contacted for this article did not provide additional details on the current status to Scientific American. Meanwhile, Axiom is reportedly facing serious financial trouble. This is N5BB, Skynet. I'll make another comment. There are some other companies working on smaller space stations to be launched, some of them next year. These are smaller things that are independently launched without funding from NASA. Okay. These proposed commercial stations may be able to learn from the ISS's leak problems, Klaus says. Once you've identified this as a potential concern, you can be smarter about future designs. If you're clever, you don't have the same failures twice. It happens once, you fix it, and move on. Their fears are... Hold on. Amber Alert update. This is N5BB. The fears are mounting that these other space stations won't be... I'm talking about the big ones. the ones that are continuously operating, won't be operational by the time the ISS needs to be retired or becomes uninhabitable, leaving the U.S. capable of only brief excursions into Earth orbit. For NASA, the prospect bears uncomfortable similarity to the 2011 retirement of the Space Shuttle fleet with no active replacement. For nearly a decade afterward, the agency purchased its astronaut seats on Russian spacecraft to reach the ISS, an expensive strategy in the financial sense, but also in terms of lost knowledge and expertise in the U.S. space industry. You really don't want to see the whole thing happen again, Magnus says. If we're going to be a nation that explores space, then we need to do so in an intelligent, cost-effective, and maximal way. An approach which has fits and starts is just non-optimal. It's wasteful. This is N5BB Skynet. Again, I'll comment that there are other companies, private companies, independently working on other designs for space stations. Most of the other ones that are going to be launched in this decade are not going to be continuously occupied. So they'll have things where astronauts can go to a small space station for a few days or maybe a week, but they won't be continuously occupied. They'll be occupied occasionally. There's other designs for larger ones that are much more advanced that won't be built until the 2030s. This is a personal comment. By the way, lots of people have said to me, why don't we just leave the ISS up there? Well, this is why. It's falling apart. This is only one of the things that's falling apart on it, but it's a major thing. Raising it to a higher orbit doesn't solve the problem. The leaks are going to be bad up there. The higher the orbit you raise it to, it's much more expensive and difficult to get to the ISS if it's raised to a much higher orbit. And just moving it around, there's a danger that something will come off and lead to more space debris. So anything you do to it is dangerous. It's like an old car with parts falling off of it. Bad news. Okay, that's all of that. Now, let's look for additional check-ins. Over on Echolink, I see Kirk. Hello, Kirk, N3KDP. Do you want to check in on voice? This is Skynet, N5BB Net Control.
Good evening, Bill. N3KDP checking in. And K5JDW with a question.
Okay. Recognize Kurt, N3KDP, who's in Irving. John, you got a little hum also. Go ahead, John.
That hum is my PL tone. It's picking up on my speaker here. I'm standing near a speaker. And it's picking up the PL tone, which is really weird. Let me turn it off. That should be better. My question is, you made me think about this leak. You said 3 atmospheres. That's roughly 20%. Not a big deal, I guess. But, why can't they compartmentalize that? I guess they're probably already doing this, but it seems like if you compartmentalized and shut certain doors somewhere, you could watch the drops and see about where it was coming from. Also seems like maybe in arrears. I don't know if they have the sensitivity to do this. They have the sensors, the gyroscope all the sensors on the gyroscope are sensitive enough or not. But it seems like that leak somewhere would be causing some anomalous propulsion on some angle or some edge of it or something. And you'd be able to look at that anomaly and figure out maybe where it's coming from. K5JDW. Oh, also, I was hoping, again, they create their own oxygen. They have plenty of stuff up there all the time that's creating water. Seems like they could just electrolyze, I can't remember the phrase, that water and make their own air. K5JDW.
Well, this is N5BB. I'm not sure if they create water using hydrogen and oxygen on the ISS. They recycle it, but because they're losing oxygen Well, they're losing more than oxygen. They're losing atmosphere. You know, it's an oxygen-nitrogen mixture. And they can't create it from nothing. They have to somehow have some oxygen atoms up there to use, either as part of water with electrolysis or oxygen itself. So essentially, they're transporting more atmosphere up there with their cargo launches. And yes, they're trying to localize it. They've been doing it for years, and that's what I mentioned earlier. Most of it seems to be coming from that tunnel, which they blocked off because there is a hatch. But they can't block off everything. There's some critical areas, and it's a slow leak, you know, maybe 2 little pinholes worth. And there's probably multiple leaks. So it's very difficult. Again, it's a very big structure. If you've seen a drawing on top of a football field with its solar panels and everything, it's about as large as a football field. It's huge. And it's just a very large human structure. And it's very difficult to track that down. You've got little tiny leaks slowly leaking over a long period of time. Okay, any other comments or questions or check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet.
Good evening. The time is 10 p.m.
I now see Marcia, KG5OMR. Very good, Marcia. We got you checked in. Okay. She's online on YouTube, so she's not on RF, so she can't talk. Okay. Let's see. The next section we have is What's Up? Virginia in V5F. Are you still here? Do you want to read the What's Up section in V5F? This is N5BB, Skynet.
Well, since Chaz is here, I think he's supposed to read it in V5F.
Oh, Chaz, are you still here? I was just reading the script without even thinking. Thank you for correcting my sloppy thinking, Virginia. Chaz, do you want to read your section for What's Up? This is N5BB.
Thank you. Yes, I can. This is Chaz, KF5JHA. Yeah, the ghost hunt that was originally scheduled from the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas was postponed because of weather. So I was planning on being in Oklahoma participating in that, but the weather is not good for us up there as well as here. All right, we call this segment of Skynet What's Up because it's all about what's going on astronomically over the next, over the past couple of weeks and over the next couple of weeks. Slide master, slide number 3, please. We have talked about the predicted nova of the star T Corona Borealis, which may erupt any time. It is currently at a brightness of around 10th magnitude, which is way too faint for us to see with just our 2 eyes. But when it goes nova, T Corona Borealis could become as bright as the North Star. Now, I can see the North Star with just my 2 eyes from my very light-polluted location here in Mesquite. So we'll keep monitoring it. I'll let you know if we see her, well, if I hear anything over the internet. All right. Slide master, slide number 4, please. Now, this is a image from spaceweather.com from October the 31st. The large sunspot complexes on the sun are so large that you can use your solar eclipse glasses to see them. Now, the sun is near its 11-year solar maximum. We've talked about the solar cycle and past Skynet, and maybe we'll do so at the end of this month. I'm not sure what topic I'm going to choose when I'm net control. I don't know. Slide master, slide number 5, please. Now, I just need to recap some of the events from October. My friend Dennis Harwell was near Telephone, Texas. He was able to observe the aurora visually on October the 10th, plus see it in the northwestern sky overhead and in the northeastern sky. So I've sort of pasted those three images into the video version of Skynet. If you don't have a video version running, that's a pretty picture that's right there on YouTube right now. All right, Slide Master, slide number 6, please. On October 23rd, I took this image of Comet C23A3 with my Canon EOS Rebel T6 camera using a 50mm f1.8 lens set at ISO 800 for an exposure of about 10 seconds. I was at Lake Ray Roberts State Park, away from the DFW, well, some of the DFW light dome. I noticed that near the tail of the comet was a little star cluster that I later identified as IC 4665. So I took a picture of it using my C-Star, and that's the bigger image that's in the video version of Skynet. All right, Slide Master, slide number 7, please. Of my ZWO C-Star, I took these two images of the comet on Wednesday, October the 23rd, about an hour and 41 minutes apart from each other. The arrow in the left picture and the arrow on the right picture are pointing to the same star. Now look how much the comet has moved compared to those stars during that time. So the comet, when I took some time exposures of the comet, the nucleus of the comet streaked. So if I took any longer than 4-minute exposures, it didn't look quite right. Isn't that interesting? I thought it was anyway. Slide Master, slide number 8. So new moon was yesterday on November the 1st, so the current phase of the moon is a waxing crescent, very thin crescent. Might have been difficult to see even if it had been clear tonight. On November the 8th is the date of the first quarter moon. On November the 14th, the moon is at perigee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is closest to the Earth at a distance of 360,109 kilometers. On November the 15th, the moon is full. On November the 22nd, the moon phases the third quarter. On November the 26th, the moon will be at apogee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is furthest from the Earth at a distance of 405,314 kilometers. Slide Master, slide number 9, please.
Do we have any comments or questions? This is our check-ins. This is N5BB, Skynet.
Oh, Bill, we're not finished yet.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Go ahead, Chaz.
Okay, we're on slide number 9. On November the 3rd, the moon and the bright star interiors are in conjunction in the southwestern evening sky. That's just tomorrow night, but it might not be clear according to the weather forecast. Slide number 10. On November the 4th, the thin crescent moon is in conjunction with the bright planet Venus in the southwestern evening sky. Slide Master, slide number 11. On November the 6th, you could spot the conjunction of the asteroid, asteroid Ceres, and the moon in the constellation of Sagittarius in the evening southwestern sky. Slide Master, slide number 12. On November the 10th, in the twilight of the early evening southwestern sky, there is a conjunction of Antares and Mercury. Let me see now. Later in the evening on November the 10th, look for the conjunction of the moon and the planet Saturn in the southwestern evening sky. Saturn has been hanging around in the evening sky for quite some time. Now, something interesting happens on November 11th. That is Slide Master, slide number 14. November 11th, a rare occultation of Neptune by the moon occurs at 7:32 p.m. Central Standard Time. Neptune disappearance happened, and at 8:48 p.m. Neptune reappears. Now you will not see Neptune in it unless with your two eyes, but you could use a telescope to see Neptune. Not even binoculars will see this furthest planet in our solar system. Slide master, slide number 15, please. Night of November the 11th and 12th is the peak of the northern toroid meteor shower that could produce maybe half a dozen meteors in an hour. Now, the best time to observe meteors is usually the hour before dawn because that's the side of the Earth that runs into the debris. If you want more information about meteors or meteor showers, you can visit the International Meteor Organization, IMO.net, or the American Meteor Society at amsmeteors.org. Slide master, slide number 16. Now, just after midnight on November the 16th, look toward the moon in the eastern sky. The Pleiades star cluster is right beside the moon. In fact, some of the Pleiades stars will be occulted by the moon. A pair of binoculars will be a great enhancement to your view. This is KF5JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide master, slide number 17. Now, do any of you out there in Radio Land have any questions, or maybe you need a fill, or maybe you just have a general astronomy question? Come now with your call sign if you need have a question or need a fill. Slide on the YouTube version of the video version of Skynet, all sorts of question marks. All right, slide master, slide number 18 says the moon waned last week. So these words for this segment of Skynet: stay safe, keep well, pray for our world. It's the only one where humans live, at least right now. Until next time, actually I may be doing another segment on Skynet if we have time. Keep looking up so you know what's up. And this is KF5JHA, back to our net control. Back to you, Bill.
Okay, I'm awake now. Paying attention. Thank you, Chaz. Sorry about that. Okay, do we have any questions, comments, or additional check-ins to Skynet? This is Inside BB, net control. Anybody else on the online check-in or echo link? So we will move further. Again, just to check, Kelly, K5KTX, are you here? This is N5BB, Skynet. N5TM, are you still here? And would you like to read the Space Exploration and Space History, section number 7, NT5TM and 5BB? Thank you, Tony.
Well, first, let's see if the crossband repeater is working.
Yep, you sound great.
Oh, wonderful. It's really disturbing when it doesn't work. Yesterday, November 1st, was the 61st anniversary of the opening of the Arecibo Radio Observatory in Puerto Rico. For over 50 years, it was home to the world's biggest single-dish radio telescope until July 2016, when it was overtaken by China's 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope, FAST. Arecibo is perhaps best known to the general public for the role it has played in movies, having appeared in GoldenEye in 1995, the X-Files. Arecibo is also popular in science fiction literature because of its importance in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It has picked up intelligent extraterrestrial signals in movies such as Carl Sagan's Contact, 1985, and also in Mary Doria Russell's The Sparrow in 1985. Go figure. Following the two breaks in cables supporting the receiver platform, weighed 900 tons, the National Science Foundation stated on November 19, 2020, that it was decommissioning the telescope due to safety concerns. But oh no. On December 1st, 2020, the main telescope collapsed before controlled demolition could be conducted. The National Science Foundation announced 1 year ago that the telescope would not be rebuilt. I guess it's time for slide 2. A new report from the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine analyzes the cause of the collapse and draws lessons learned for other unique critical science facilities. Long-term zinc creep induced failure in the telescope's cable, what's that word, spelter socket, was the root cause of the telescope's collapse, the report says. Sockets filled with zinc held in place a set of cables suspending the telescope's main platform over the reflector dish. Gradually, the zinc lost its hold on the cables and allowed several of them to pull out, leading to the collapse of that aforementioned 900-ton platform and reflector. The failure sequence began with Hurricane Maria over 3 years prior to the collapse, according to the report. Indications of cable pullout were minimal before the hurricane. Large and progressive cable pullout could be seen during post-hurricane visual inspections, observations of which should have prompted remedial action. Safety factor calculations made following the first cable failure did not recognize the accelerated, time-dependent materials failure process governing the eventual. Which, as mentioned during TechNet, could have been accelerated by heating from radio waves. This is the first documented case of a long-term zinc-induced creep failure despite a long history of usage over a century, the report notes. A possible explanation for the accelerated zinc creep is long-term low-current electroplasticity. Oh, here we go in the script. Induced by the electromagnetic waves from the Arecibo telescope, LRadar. Yes, it was used as a powerful transmitter, not just a receiver. The report recommends that the NSF should offer the remaining socket and cable sections for study by the research community. The committee that wrote the report reached its conclusions through extensive review of forensic investigations commissioned by the University of Central Florida, yay, go Pegasus, go Knights, and NSF, information gathering from employees at our Arecibo Observatory, and study of the relevant research, consultations with experts, and examination of structural analyses, engineering plans, inspection reports, photographs, and repair proposals. Of the Golden Knights, excuse me. Okay, let's pause here. I'm about to go on to space and NASA history. Space history this week, October 28th, slide 4. When Space Shuttle mission STS-95 launched with Space Shuttle Discovery on October 29th, 1998, one of the mission's payload specialists is this obscure, never heard of before, who came from Ohio, somebody named John Glenn. He completed a historic space first for the second time in his life. At this time, he became the oldest man in space at 77 years old. One of the original Mercury 7 astronauts, John Glenn was the first American to orbit the Earth when he flew aboard Friendship 7 in 1962. After he resigned from NASA in 1964, he became involved in, yes, politics, winning the first of 4 consecutive Senate terms in 1974. As a senator, John Glenn's congressional efforts focused on the aging population, and during his 9 days aboard STS-95, his efforts were no different, spending much of the mission experimenting on how his body responded to microgravity. John unfortunately died on December 8, 2016 at 95. October 30th, 1964, NASA research pilot Joe Walker, oh yeah, he was awesome, climbed into a very strange contraption. The machine was called the Lunar Landing Research Vehicle, LLRV. or sometimes the flying bedstead, or more colloquially, the death trap. The spindly, four-legged research craft was designed to simulate the conditions astronauts would find while landing on the moon. The moon has only 1/6 of the Earth's gravity, and there is no atmosphere. So the final landing had an almost vertical approach with the speed controlled by a rocket engine. The main engine of the LLRV was a jet pointing directly down. It was lifted to test altitude and then be throttled back until it only supported 5/6 of the craft's total weight. The craft and pilot would then be subjected to conditions similar to those they would experience on the moon. Walker demonstrated the principle on 3 flights on that first day of testing. As Neil Armstrong, the first astronaut to land on the moon, said the mission would not have been successful without the type of simulation that resulted from the LLRVs, although I would like to point out that he ejected from one. That thing could have killed the astronauts as well as saved them. October 31st, 1936. A group of California Institute of Technology, Caltech students and enthusiasts would become JPL, conducted its first liquid-fueled rocket test. 22 years later, in December 1958, JPL was transferred to NASA from the Army. JPL is still managed by Caltech for NASA as a federally funded research and development center. These days, their main focus is on robotic space exploration and not actually on developing new jet engines. They did, however, build the first American satellite to reach orbit, Explorer 1, launched on January 31st, 1958. Now, they're still, sending robotic missions to Mars and struggling to keep Voyager 1 and 2 alive. I want to give them a hug for that. November 2nd, 2000, Expedition 1 docked with the International Space Station. The crew of 3, Bill Shepard, Yuri Gizdenko, and Sergei Krikalev, rode aboard Soyuz TM-31 to begin their stay on the ISS. And since that day, the space station has been continuously inhabited. Expedition 1 marked the beginning of the first permanent off-planet residence for humanity. They were very busy. They had 136 days in space, and they received 2 automated resupply craft. They successfully installed the last of the station's solar arrays as well as the Destiny laboratory. The mission came to an end on March 18th, 2001, when they boarded Discovery, STS-102, and headed for home, but not before turning the station over to Expedition 2, commanded by Yuri Yushaev, and with flight engineers Jim Voss and Susan Helms, both very famous. Today, on day 8,766, the Expedition 72 astronauts, commanded by astronaut Sunita Williams, carry the baton forward. Man, her hair looks awesome in 0G. So, a quick one-through birthdays. October 27th, 1946, Stephen Nagel. October 27th, 1946, Terry Hart. October 27th, 1953, Michael Baker. October 30th, 1946. What a great year. Robert Hood Gibson. October 30th, 1961, Ronald Guerin. October 30th, 1964, Sandra Magnus. October 31st, 1930, Michael Collins. October 31st, 1949, Terrence Wilcott. He had 4 flights. November 1st, 1953, Jan Davis. And November 2nd, 1944, Jeffrey Hoffman, who had 5 flights. It's a great month for astronauts, folks. NT5TM. I'm out of breath. I'm tired. But, man, it's been a great month. Back to Ned.
Very good, Tony. Does anybody have any comments, questions, or additional check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet. Hold on, I have lost. I lost the script. I had two Google things open, Google Drive things open, and this one has disappeared. So hang on. Oh no, there it is over there. I still got it on the other computer. Okay. Again, looking for additional check-ins. Do we have any additional check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet. Okay, the screen I've lost is the check-in screen. Oh. Tom, are you looking at the check-in screen? Are there any additional check-ins that you can see?
No, Bill, no additional check-ins. KE5ICX.
I found it. Okay, I'm sorry. I got too many things open at once. I've now found the screen. Okay, next we have Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week. We're running late here, Chaz, but you want to go on and give it a stab? Maybe you can throw a few jokes in. J5JHA, N5BB.
Well, there's always room for jokes, but I don't think the Constellation of the Week is going to have enough time to continue onwards. So let's postpone Pegasus, the wing tours, until next week. This is KF5JHA. Back to you, net control. N5BB, 783, everyone.
Okay, I like some of your jokes this time, Chaz, but we'll skip them for next time. Okay, Tom, are there any critical space launches this week we need to discuss? K5ICX and 5BB.
All right, Bill, I can do that. I think we got enough time for the ISS. There are a number of good passes coming up this week. We have on November 3rd, a minus 2.7 magnitude at 6:02 a.m., reaches highest point of 42 degrees at 6:05. It'll follow the east-southeast at 6:08. This is the central time, of course, in Dallas. November 4th, minus 1.8 magnitude, 5:14 a.m. out of the north. It'll reach its highest point of 23 degrees at 5:15, and it'll fall to the east at 5:18. November 5th, we have a minus 3.6 magnitude. That's very bright. 6 a.m. out of the west-northwest. It'll reach its highest point at 6:02. Out of the southwest at 53 degrees, and it'll fall to the south-southeast at 6:09. Then November 6th, we have a minus 3.7 magnitude. This is at 5:13 a.m. at 70 degrees. Now this is coming out of shadow. 5:13:29, 70 degrees, and then it'll be to the southeast at 5:16. So it's a shorter pass because of the shadow. Then on November, let's see here, 7th. Okay, that's it there. I got 3 minutes. Let me do Tiangong. That is the Chinese space station. Let me bring that up real quick here. This one has two passes that are quite good. We have one on November 9th. That one's minus 1.7 magnitude at 18:57 in the evening. Out of the west-southwest, it reaches its highest point at 51 degrees. 1900 falls to the north at 1900. Then November 10th has also a good pass, minus 2.2 magnitude, 17:56 in the evening. Now with daylight savings at 5:56 is perfectly possible. Out of the west-southwest, it reaches highest point almost directly overhead at 83 degrees at 17:59, and it'll fall to the east-northwest east at 18:02. And that's it, Bill. That's all I'm going to do for this evening. Back to you, KE5ICX.
Normal state.
Very good, Tom. I want to remind everybody that daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. Sunday. tomorrow. Set your manual clocks back 1 hour tonight. You will have one additional hour to do something tomorrow, whatever you want to. And let me count up how many people we've got, how many people are on the sign-in list here. Hang on. There plus 11. Tonight we had 26 people participating in the net. I want to thank everybody for checking in this evening. We hope you join us here next week and every Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration.
I'm completely operational and all my
is never on the limit.
Afterglow Movie Net.
We're always looking for net control stations for this and other Dallas Amateur Radio Club nets. If you're interested, send an email to nets@w5fc.org. That's NETS at w5foxcharlie.org. You can follow topics and discussions about this net, astronomy in general, on Facebook and X, if you really want to, as well as their audio and video streams, video archives, and other useful internet resources by going to w5fc.org at the conclusion of this net. Till next Saturday night, this is N5BB Bill, closing a net at 10:30 p.m. local time. We are on time. We're turning the net to normal amateur use for a few minutes before we start with the afterglow net. I'll turn it over to whoever is net control. Is that going to be Virginia? I'll let you go. This is N5BB clear. Good night.
Did say I was going to do this thing, didn't I? NB5F.
You don't have to, Virginia. We're not holding your feet to the fire in 5BB.
Well, I haven't done it in a while, and I didn't watch the movie, so I'll be happy to run the net and not say very much.
I like it. I didn't see the whole movie either in 5BB.
This is Virginia NV5F. I'm all spazzed up on tea and junk food. I should be pretty good for this until midnight. So, here's how we do this. I hope we have a lot of good Halloween fans here tonight. Halloween was a couple of days ago. And think about this. When we're done with this net and you go to bed, you're going to get an hour back. So it's almost like it's only going to be ending at 11 o'clock instead of midnight. So let's just think of it that way. All right, so here's how this works. I am going to talk about our movie this week, which is The Addams Family from 1991. And then we'll get some people that everybody who wants to can check in, whether you've seen the movie or not. You'll just tell me your name, your call sign, your name, and whether or not you saw our fine film this week. And then we'll go around, and on round one, we'll talk about the plot, which is out of the plot of this movie. Then we'll talk about the characters, characterization and acting. And then for the third round, if we have time, we'll go through everybody and see what they think about anything, special effects, music, or any other fun facts you like to add. And if we're short on time, we'll just let people throw out their call signs and give any relevant comments that they have regarding this film or any other film, especially if it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Once again, my name is Virginia. My call sign is NV5F, and this is the Afterglow Movie Net here on the W5FC repeater. We do this net every Saturday night at 10:30 following Skynet, and we hope that if you join us, if you hear us, you'll join us, and even if you haven't seen the movie, please join us. We might ask you what you think about whether or not you'd like to see this movie. So here we go. The Addams Family, 1991, is an American supernatural black comedy film based on the characters from the, cartoon created by Charles Addams and the 1964 television series produced by David Levy, directed by former cinematographer Barry Sonnenfeld in his feature directorial debut. The film stars Angelica Houston, who was nominated for a Golden Globe for her performance as Morticia Addams, and Paul Julia as Gomez Addams, and Christopher Lloyd as Fester Addams. The film focuses on a bizarre, macabre, and aristocratic family who reconnect with someone whom they believe to be a long-lost relative, Gomez's brother, Fester Addams. The film was noted for its turbulent production, as was alluded to in Tom's fabulous synopsis from earlier. Originally developed at Orion, the film went $5 million over budget due to constant rewrites throughout shooting, health problems of people involved in the filming, and an overall stressful filming for Sonnenfeld himself, which caused multiple delays. The rise in production costs from the film's $25 million budget to $30 million led Orion financially struggling and fearful of another big-budget flop to sell the film to Paramount, who completed the film and handled the distribution. Orion distributed the film internationally through Columbia Pictures. The film was commercially successful, making back almost 7 times its production costs, and was followed by a sequel, Addams Family Values. The plot is as follows. Gomez Addams laments the 25-year absence of his brother Fester, who disappeared after the two had a falling out. Gomez's lawyer, Tully Alford, owes money to loan shark/con artist Abigail Craven, and notices that her adopted son, Gordon, closely resembles Fester. Tully proposes that Gordon poses Fester to infiltrate the Addams household and find the hidden vault where they keep their vast riches. Tully and his wife, Margaret, attend a seance at the Adams home led by Grandmama, in which the family tries to contact Fester's spirit. Gordon arrives posing as Fester, while Abigail poses as the German psychiatrist Dr. Greta Pinderschloss. She tells the family that Fester had been lost in the Bermuda Triangle for the past 25 years until she found him in some tuna net. Gomez, overjoyed to have Fester back, takes him to the family vault to view home movies from their childhood. Gordon learns the reason for the brothers falling out. Gomez was jealous of Fester's success with women and wooed the conjoined twins Flora and Fauna Amore away from him out of envy. Gomez starts to suspect that Fester is an imposter when he is unable to recall important details about their past. Gordon attempts to return to the vault, but is unable to get past a booby trap. Gomez's wife, Morticia, reminds Fester of the importance of family among the Adamses and of their vengeance against those who cross them. Fearing that the family is getting wise to their con, Abigail, under the guise of Dr. Pinderschloss, convinces Gomez that his suspicions are due to displacement. Gordon, under the guise of Fester, grows closer to the Adams family, particularly the children Wednesday and Pugsley, whom he helps to prepare a sword play sequence for a school play. Abigail had insisted that Gordon not attend the play, but after feeling deeply saddened by this, he attends anyway. After the play, Dr. Pinderschloss insists that Fester must once again leave, so the Adamses throw a large party with their extended family and friends, during which Abigail plans to break into the vault. Wednesday overhears the two escape them by hiding in the family cemetery. Tully learns that as the elder brother, Fester is the executor of the Adamses' estate and therefore technically owns the entire property. With help from the Adamses' neighbor, Judge George Womack, whom Gomez has repeatedly infuriated by hitting golf balls into his house, Tully procures a restraining order against the family, banning them from the estate. Gomez attempts to fight the order in court, but Judge Womack rules against him out of spite. While Abigail, Gordon, and Tully try repeatedly and unsuccessfully to get past the booby trap blocking access to the vault, the Adamses are forced to move into a motel and find jobs. Sell toxic lemonade, and Thing, the family's animated, disembodied hand, becomes a courier. Despondent Gomez into depression and lethargy. Morticia returns to the Adams home to comfort Gordon and is captured by Abigail and Tully, who torture her in an attempt to learn how to access the vault. Thing observes this and informs Gomez using Morse code. The concerned Gomez then rushes to Morticia's rescue, and Abigail threatens Morticia's life if Gomez does not surrender the family fortune. Fed up with his mother's behavior and constant berating, Gordon turns against her using a magical book which projects its contents into reality. He unleashes a hurricane into the house, which strikes his own head with lightning and launches Tully and Abigail out of a window and into open graves dug for them by Wednesday and Pugsley. This movie ends with a coda taking place 7 months later at Halloween. The family has since figured out that Gordon was actually Fester the whole time and had really gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle, where he was found and adopted by Abigail. However, Fester had suffered from amnesia the whole time and only recovered his memories after being struck by lightning while with the family whole again as they play Wake the Dead. Morticia informs Gomez that she is pregnant. The end. Again, I am Virginia. My call is NV5F. I am your net control for the Afterglow this week. If you would like to talk about this wonderful movie or just let us know that you are out there and interested, please come now with your call sign, your name, and whether or not you did see The Addams Family 1991.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike, Tony and Dallas. I saw it, but it was a long time ago.
Kilo Echo 5, India Charlie X-Ray, Tom, and where am I? Corpus Christi, yes, I saw the film.
Kilo 5, Juliet Delta Whiskey, John and Coppell. I saw the movie a long time ago and saw part of it recently. Had a Fester question, but I think you just answered it. Wednesday was perfect for her part, and I'm just going to sit back and listen in. Don't call me. K5JW.
Kilo Bravo 9, Oscar Kilo, Sean forward. Yes, I did see this film.
This is Whiskey 5, bacon, lettuce, and tomato, W5BLT Bill. Yes, I saw the movie.
Kilo Golf 5, Bravo Zulu Whiskey, Jay near Wedford. I saw it a long time ago, and I just watched part of it recently. Didn't quite finish it though. I just ran out of time. Take your 5, easy to do it.
Okay, so far we have NT5TM, Tony, yes, he saw it a long time ago. We have KE5ICX, Tom, yes, he saw it. K5JDW, Tim, yes, long ago, but he's QRU, so enjoy listening, Tim. KB9SOK, Sean, yes, he saw it. W5BLT, Bill, yes, he saw it. KG5BZWJ, yes, he saw it a long time ago, and I think he saw a little more of it recently. I also saw it a long time ago, and I don't know that I've seen it again since I saw it in early 1992 or late 19... No, it was very end of 1991. It was out at the holidays. And I believe there was a double with Tony up at the top. So whoever doubled with Tony up at the top of the check-ins, please come again.
Can't remember, did you get me? This is Inside BB, Bill and Irving.
BB, Bill, I think you're probably the one who doubled with Tony up at the top. Did you see the movie?
I saw the first part of the movie. I haven't finished it yet. I think I saw there was another follow-up movie, and of course I saw the original series when it came out decades ago on TV, Inside BB.
Okay, yeah, I used to watch some of those the reruns, Addams Family reruns, back in the day. Okay, looks like we got a pretty good group to begin with. I did not rewatch this. I have not seen it. I might have seen it one other time since 1991, but I don't think so. But I have an interesting story about when I saw this movie, but I will save that. I'll save that for later. So let's start with Tony. NT5TM, what do you think of the plot of Addams Family from 1991?
Oh, heartwarming and fun. Aaron and I both enjoyed this movie. It's a great date movie for us. It's part of our relationship. It even forms a key part of her relationship with her parents. They mailed off a ton of postcards, and they won an Addams Family pinball machine, which was at the time and remains today the most commercially successful pinball machine. It holds an important place in pinball history and well deserves its sought-after place and status. Okay, she got that part from Wikipedia. But really, I mean, this was just so much fun. I mean, Uncle Fester turning out to be first a fake and then real. I mean, And then Angelica Houston, Raul Julia. Oh, man. This is a very scary movie because I don't want to play electric chair. I mean, oh my goodness. We're hams. We have high voltage power supplies. I don't want to sit in one. But then it's like, it all turns out okay in the end. So, I think the plot is just enormously friendly. It makes me happy. It brings us both closer together here at home. It makes our birds go to bed early. And, yep, totally satisfied. Yeah, that's not an actual word. Totally satisfied with the plot, and ready to say more positive things about the characters later. NT5 TM.
Okay, thanks, Tony. That's cool about the pinball machine. What a neat story. And it's good that you have such good memories of it, even if you haven't seen it in a long time. So, a lot of times when a movie is associated with a good memory, you remember it vividly, even if you go a long time without seeing it. Alrighty, Tom, K5ICX, how do you feel about Addams Family, 1991?
Well, hello, Virginia, and everybody on that. Thank you for doing the net tonight. And, yeah, I loved this movie. I really enjoyed it. And I think the reason I liked it is because of the very popular television series that I saw when I was a kid. I think it was on ABC when it was originally on. And I just loved the series, and I watch it in reruns all the time. Enjoy the heck out of it. And all of the whole thing plays out like a episode of the Addams Family. So all of the actors, which are good actors, Raul Julia, Academy Award winner, Angelica Houston, also Academy Award, did a really good job. Christopher Lloyd, I think, was just loved doing Uncle Fester. There's obviously that it was just he adored this character and the role. Everyone else also played very well throughout the film, and enjoyed it as a, kind of a superficial comedy, but that's what the Addams Family was, and it was wonderfully done. I think I may jump ahead here because we usually short shrift the third part, but one of the things that makes this movie work so well is the music. Mark Shaman is a favorite composer of mine. He's gone on and he did a lot of television specials and did a favorite score of mine from An American President, which if you ever listen to it, it's quite good. It's relatively short, but it's really well done. And he does this here too. He does a lot of what's called Mickey Mousing, which is was very popular. Essentially, the characters react to the music, or the music reacts to the characters in real time, which is always a lot of fun. And this score works. He's also a huge fan of the who did the music for Addams Family? At any rate, that style of music back in the 60s. So he very much mimics that, and that was played out again in Addams Family Values later on to the hilt. So I think that helps because the music is a character, which I guess we can talk about in a little bit. But at any rate, all those things work together. They had a good blueprint. They stuck with it. There have been remakes of the Addams Family later on that were okay, but not nearly as good as this film or its sequel. So I guess it can be tricky if you don't follow the formula exactly right. But I enjoyed the film quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. KE5 ICX.
Wow, Tom, you did rounds 1 through 3 all in one. Crazy. You just couldn't help yourself. Okay, and I do like the music from the American President. I can actually pull it out of thin air and hum it anytime I want. But I can't do it on the air because no music allowed. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with Tim. Tim is listening, so Tim, hope you're enjoying so far. Next, we've got KV9 SOK. Sean, what do you feel about the plot of Addams Family?
Yeah, this is KV9 SOK. Yeah, I agree with everybody on this. It was just one of those films, obviously, it's, I guess you could, I really don't classify it as a scary movie, because it's more of a comedy. But yeah, it definitely reminds me of the TV show. Seen it many times when I was a kid, so, and I do think that they did a pretty good job of kind of replicating what they did on the show. As Tom already alluded, that it works if you follow the formula. The remakes after that, not so much. So yeah, this is just a fun movie, not meant to be serious. Obviously, it's not like our typical science fiction film where you're looking at the science and see if it's accurate. Well, of course it's not. This is just, meant to be fun and kind of a comedy. So I classify this one as just, entertaining, just an easy watch with popcorn. So yeah, I found it okay and enjoyed it to that extent. So yeah, now I'm more to say about this one. So yeah, back to that, KV9SO.
All right, thank you, Sean. Yeah, I remember this being enjoyable because it wasn't as dark or scary as things were starting to get at that time. When they started doing remakes and stuff, a lot of times they would start making the remake more edgy or, just not in character with the original. And I did think this one lined up pretty well, like it's just an expanded episode of the show, and kept very true to the feel of that and some of the humor of it, like the Addams Family having to sort of go out into the regular world and be a little bit fish out of water and try to do quote-unquote normal things. It was pretty funny. Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, we're going to go now to Bill, 35BLT from NV5F. What do you think of the plot of Addams Family?
NV5F, W5BLT, thanks for doing the net, Virginia. I love this movie. I thought this was the one I saw in descriptive video, but it turns out I think it was the follow-up from 1993, the Addams Family Values. But yeah, I remember watching this Addams Family on the TV show and the Munsters. And so this just had a fun kind of feel. Obviously, we've seen the plot as far as there's trying to get the family inheritance and things like that. But this movie was just well done, and it was, I think, you could tell the characters the actors were having a lot of fun with the movie and the plot. Actually, the plot where it turns out that Fester really is him, the children especially, but the whole cast wanted that ending to be changed. Originally, it was going to be that it was really the one lady's son, or not really Fester, and so the one, I think, 9-year-old, I just lost her name, sorry, the girl, they wrote this speech and had her deliver it, and the producers changed the plot. at the ending. And so, you know, it was a good fun movie. But I thought that was interesting that the actors actually lobbied for that to be changed from what the producers and writers were originally going to do. So anyway, throw it back over to you, W5BLT.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, that's really interesting because I do remember when I saw this that the ending where, you know, Fester turns out to really be Fester, and that's the explanation as to why he fell in with the family so well. It was heartwarming, and at the same time, I was old enough at that point to kind of feel like it was a little bit like cheating, you know. But I'm guessing the cast, like, just, you know, probably liked they kind of all liked who they were playing and the feel of everybody together, and wanted it to have a more feel good ending. So I can totally understand that in its light of a subject, if, you know, and all the tropey, just madcap sitcominess of a evil lawyer and a you know, a villain who's just trying to figure out how to steal the family fortune. Is, you know, it's so comedic and broad that, you know, you can get away with a plot like that and it still not feel like just a ripoff or like, you know, they couldn't think of a better ending or something. So yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, Jay, KG5BZW, what do you think from MV5F?
Good evening. The time is 11 p.m.
Not that much that I think I could add because, yeah, I agree. They did a good job of the plot itself. I thought I remembered, and because I didn't get to finish the plot, the movie, in my more recent viewing, but I'll probably will finish it, since I just paid the rent. I always did kind of feel like that was a little bit of a cheat, even though it kind of, I agree that Gordon as Lester did kind of make sense, but still, I don't know. I always kind of thought it was really kind of a silly thing. Not a bad silly necessarily, but it was one of those things that I don't know. I do wish I knew how much of this was inspired from the comics versus TV show, because, yeah, I saw a lot of episodes of the TV show. I'm pretty sure this is a comic, or unless I'm thinking of the other show, or maybe I'm just imagining it. I don't know. They like the blood scene was, I mean, it was perfectly natural in a 90s sort of way for that. I remember it being kind of a little bit gratuitous and weird, over the top. Not, I mean, it was over the top. Let's face it. Regardless of what your views on it, it was funny, but it was like, really. I don't know. We aren't really dealing with believable characters here. They are all kind of, you know, their own bits. They aren't quite human, so to speak. Obviously, some characters aren't human. I do like. Okay, it was the hairball, and Thing is the hand. I really like Thing. I'm getting ahead of myself on the characters. It's hard. I mean, this is such a character kind of driven film, even though, you know, they're not quite stereotypes, but they're not, you know, they're just oddballs and, you know, likable oddballs. I guess maybe not everybody would like them, but I don't know. It's such a weird movie to think about. I wouldn't call it a favorite necessarily, but I've never really hated it or anything. I don't know. I enjoyed what I've watched so far. It's just I just don't really know how to deal with the I don't know if it's a matter of not really knowing how to deal with, or just trying to just how much. I mean, obviously you don't take it seriously too much, but it's kind of fun to take it a little bit seriously. And it's always this kind of film is like, much I really think that be engaging in that, or just, you know, just take them as they are, portrayed, and, you know, do whatever. Because, gosh, I don't know. Yeah, kind of mixed feelings all around, but it's not terrible by any means. It's fun. I'll leave it at that. KG5 BCW.
Okay, thank you, Jay, ever our reluctant cynic. Thank you very much. Hey, sometimes you just have to relax and let something be silly. This is definitely not hardcore science fiction or horror. It's just that genre, and it was based on a cartoon or comic, you know, there was the Monsters that also had a similar type genre of the, you know, the Addams Family were sort of the, you know, neo-gothic, out-of-touch people who were obviously silly. You're not going to find these kind of people just living on your block. So it was just kind of absurdism in order to, you know, make some points about our own society. And I think it did a good job of that, and it stayed true to its, you know, roots. And the thing is really funny, and only people like the Addamses would conveniently know Morse code so that it could save the day one more time. Okay, next we're on to Bill, N5BB. Tell us what you thought of what you've seen so far in V5F.
NV5F in the group N5BB. Good timing. As you know, Virginia, I've always known that Morse code will save the day. So that's not a surprise to me. I like this movie. I like the characters. You got to remember, it's the Addams family, with a focus on the family. They're a family that's pretty weird, but they know how to relate to each other and how to get along with each other. And that's critical. Yes, Charles Addams was a cartoonist, and for a while he drew many, many, many cartoons. And these very dark cartoons that were of this ilk became known as the Addams Family. The spelling of his name is Addams, just as the name of the movie. That was Charles Addams's, the cartoonist, his name, his last name. And this is N5BB. I really enjoy the whole thing, the whole concept of the kids playing with knives and electrocution and all those things. Of course, Lurch the thing, the hand that crawls around, and the fact that Gomez and Morticia are so much in love. That's really the key of the whole thing, is their love for themselves and their family really ties the whole thing together and makes it so enjoyable. I mean, they are happy. They are just intensely happy at all these things, at all these goings on. So I think it's a great movie. And yes, I watched the series back when it came out in the 60s and some of the reruns. And I can think of the theme song playing in the background, which is very distinctive for the TV series. And I believe I saw, again, I haven't seen this movie until today, and I haven't really finished it yet. I've seen most of it. But I saw the follow-up movie, I think, The Addams Family Values, some or all of that movie sometime in the last decade. That's it for now, N5BB. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Appreciate all the little history bits about things, and hope you enjoy the rest of the movie. Do we have any more check-ins who want to get on the list for Afterglow and talk with us about the Addams Family from 1991? Please come now with your call sign and your name and whether or not you saw the movie.
Hello, Juliet 5, Golf Oscar Tango. This is John in Dallas. I did not see the movie, but I just enjoy listening to this. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. I got Kilo Juliet 5 something Tango. Please give me your suffix and repeat your name. And I'll just put you on the list since you didn't see the movie. We may call on you to see what you think later on. But yeah, give me the last part of your call and your name, please.
Juliet 5, Golf Oscar Tango, John in Dallas.
Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate it. And I got that you didn't see the movie. I'll maybe call on you next round to see if you think you might want to see the movie. If you're still around. I know it's late. A lot of people, I think, are already going after that extra hour of sleep. So now it's my turn. I'll be at the bottom of the list, and I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, and I really honestly only think I saw it once when it was out at the theater. And I do have some memories, kind of like Tony, and my main memory of this movie is that I saw it a couple days after Christmas in 1991. I was home from college, and the night before, we went and saw it. My sister had dropped me off at the house. We had been over at my grandparents' visiting our cousins from here who had come to stay at our grandparents for Christmas, and then I believe that our other cousin from Australia, she was rather young at the time, and her mom, my Aunt Carol, were also here, or they were in Mississippi. I lived in Mississippi at the time. And that night after Christmas, I was dropped off at home by my sister, and I went into the house, and when the front door opened, we lived in a townhouse, and it was on the end of a row of townhouses, and when I opened the front door, our house was on fire. And I called the fire department. I went to the next door neighbor, called the fire department, and they came quickly and put the fire out. But the whole inside of the house was completely destroyed by soot, and the whole living room was burned up. And my mom came from work at the hospital, and she somehow got hold of my sister, and it was raining that night, I remember that, and then it was raining the next day, and all Mom could do was call the insurance company and start working on getting things done, and she was trying to keep me and my cousins occupied. So my aunt and my uncle and my cousin from Australia and me and my cousins, who were a few years younger than me, we all went to the movies, and us teenagers, me and my cousins Gage and Clifton, we all went to see the Addams Family, and my aunt and Uncle Carl and my cousin Hannah all went to see Beauty and the Beast, and I had already seen Beauty and the Beast, and it was very good. But I remember we went to see Addams Family, and it was kind of just a distraction that day because it was kind of a weird day, and I remember it was raining and cold. It was, December, and that's the main memory I have of seeing this movie, is that it was the day after my house burned down, which was the day after Christmas. Very weird times. Somehow got through it all, but that's what I think of when I think of this movie. Okay, this is Virginia NV5F, Net Control for the Afterglow, and now we're going to go around and see what people think of these conversations. NT5TM, Tony, what do you think?
Oh boy, that's a really tough thing to follow. Aaron would like to point out that she really, really liked the first Morticia. This is a person I don't even know, but she liked whoever played Morticia before this movie came out. But for me, I thought they were perfect. Just so sarcastic, so full of little zingy things. It's like they were shooting bolts of static out of their fingertips. It makes me want to do that. How could you be such a good actor like you could just look at someone else and play at them, and then they have to play off that. So I thought the characters were great. It's been a long time, but I feel very fulfilled thinking about my memories of this movie.
Okay, Tony, was that it for you?
I'm sorry, NT5TM.
Okay, I know how you are about protocol, so I just want to make sure. And I definitely did not tell that story to be a tough act to follow. That year is long gone, and I'm definitely very over that situation. And it's really not a bad memory for me now. We got through all that, and but it's just something I think about whenever I think about this movie. And I think this movie started a trend of older sitcoms and things being reimagined and recast as pretty solidly done movies with good plots and generally finding really good actors to portray the original, to carry on where the originals were maybe, not around anymore to do that, or had gotten older and didn't suit the parts anymore. There was a lot of that starting in the early 90s, and I think this movie did a very good job of that with the actors, and did a great job with expanding the characters from some of these shows. Okay, thanks, Tony. Next, we're going to have Tom, K5ICX. Do you have any more to say about actors and characterization from NV5?
Yeah, I guess I was a little bit of a bad boy and jumped the gun and went on with some of the other parts. Well, what can I say? That it happened. Yeah, I enjoyed the characters and the acting in this. Obviously, you got some, really good actors. And Angelica Houston, of course, from the Houston Dynasty. Raul Julia had come off, was it Kiss of the Spider Woman, I think? And had, got an Academy Award nomination for that. Christopher Lloyd, who doesn't love him in a comedy, especially after Back to the Future. The kids were good. Christina Ricci as Wednesday and Jimmy Workman as Pugsley were good. Some of the secondary characters, Grandmama and Lurch, were good. Thing was played very forthrightly as Thing. I was thinking Cousin It was played as Cousin It. Thing played Thing, of course. We got to give him a hand for his performance on that one, I think. And everybody else that was in it was quite good. It's surprising, considering that all the problems with production and everything, that it came off as well as it did, and making 7 times what it cost to make the film. That's no small feat. Now, there was one thing in there, Barry Sonnenfeld, who I mentioned in my little ditty, and as the director, he has a cameo in this. He is on Gomez's train, the little tiny person on board the train. That's the director. He's in it for about 10 seconds. I thought it was pretty interesting. I did a little search on him on Wikipedia, and he has an interesting little career himself. He started out as a pornographer, making pornography, and then he hooked up with the Coen brothers, and before directing the Addams Family films, did the cinematography for Raising Arizona and a couple other films, I think, Throw Mama from the Tree, Miller's Crossing, and a few others. Really good films. He went on to do his own direction with several films that we all know and love, and in some cases hate. All the Men in Black series he did, and he did. They brought him in, unfortunately, for Wild Wild West, which of course is another one of those '60s shows. I guess they figured lightning would strike twice after the Addams Family, but no, not quite. Although, quite honestly, I didn't mind the film. I rather kind of liked it myself. But he did so many other things in all of this as well as a director. So I think he was a good choice, maybe happenstance and accidental originally. But as it turns out, since it was turned down by the typical people that you would expect to do films like this, he did a really great job, especially with all the production issues that were involved. Somehow or another, he managed to make the film and made it look good, and he got the actors the performances that he needed. So I guess that's it from me. Back to you, KE5ICX.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Tom. Sorry, we have too many Bills. Thanks, Tom, a.k.a. Bill. I'm just going to call everybody Bill tonight. I'm so tired. Yeah, that was good. And I think this movie is a testament to, if you do something well and you expand appropriately and in character with the original, you don't have to be that original. You just have to do something that's just satisfying for people, and I wish people would get back to doing that, because it's so hard to find a movie now that's just a good old regular solid movie that's doesn't try. I mean, the whole idea of the Addams Family was so quirky, and it was just original enough, and they just didn't have to do, they just had to get some really good acting and a pretty decent story, and, despite the production difficulties, I guess they just hung in there and ended up with something that worked. I've seen so many documentaries recently about making shows and movies, and, we think, oh, this is so great, and it's such a part of pop culture, and then you realize that even all the great stuff that everybody loves, like, it's a miracle that it even happened. If you listen to the story of, almost anything that's awesome, you just go, wow, it's really a wonder this got made and that it was even that good. So I guess it's kind of the same with this one. Okay, next we do have, Tim is just listening. We have KB9SOK, Sean, actors and characterization for the Addams Family from NV5F.
Yeah, this is KB9SOK. I don't know I have a lot to add here. As said, I think this whole, everybody did actually a really good job in this film. Obviously, we had some top-notch actors, and it showed. Once again, on this kind of a movie, where it's kind of a comedy, more based. So sometimes you get actors that just don't really get into it or give it their all because they just don't take it seriously. But they did here. I truly believe that they put forth the effort, and it did look like they probably had fun. I haven't read any of the backstory, how everybody got along, but it did seem like they did. And as you and Tom already talked about, it's tough to capture something that was done already once well, and then have completely different actors to try to recapture that, feel and look, and to make it, feel like it truly fits. They really did that well with this, and it is so easy to get off that path, and, a lot of times, we've seen where they reboot the series, and they want to completely change it up, and then they seem confused why people don't like it. Well, there's a reason why people like the original. Not saying it doesn't hurt every now and then to add a few little, tidbits of new ideas in there, but when you completely change everything, it just doesn't work. And in this case, they were careful to, make sure they actually did get the look and the feel of the characters. And I really think that's what made this film work. So yeah, not a lot there. So yeah, back to that. KB9SOK.
902, time out.
Okay, Sean, short and sweet. Next we have Bill, the other Bill, the real Bill, or one of the two real ones, W5BLT. Bill, what do you think of the actors and characters in this film, NV5F?
Hey, thanks, Virginia. Typically, I don't like remakes from Hollywood and kind of piggybacking off of things that have been done before. Probably because I'm disappointed with the characters. When you get the people you're familiar with, it's hard for me anyway to transition. But I thought they did the voices well. And I liked the characters, and so this one, it surprised me because typically I'm not a big fan of the remakes. But I really thought they did a great job, and I love the characters. I love the Uncle Fester. I love the kids and the sword fighting. I love those scenes trying to imagine, obviously being blind, just the fun they were having. They just sounded like they were just all having fun playing the characters. So that's all I got. Back to you, Virginia, W5BLT.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And I think we all find that movies that have a cast that's generally happy to be together and enjoying what they're doing, you're just going to enjoy the movie. It's going to come across and suck you in a little bit. So, I think so too. I think on this movie, the actors were enjoying getting to be over the top. You know, you have these pretty well-known actors, and some of them had done comedy, and they all did a really great job with the broadness of this and the heartfeltness of the story. That it still wasn't a family sitcom kind of a plot that families could actually enjoy. So, yeah, very good. All right, next we have JKG5BZW, characters and actors. What'd you think?
I don't know, but the case about Echo Link has been acting very weird for the past couple of minutes with sporadic, just really. Continued. I don't know what's going on. Very weird.
I'm hearing you sporadically. There's some digital sounds, like there's some other kind of modulation going on, and your audio is a little intermittent. So if you want to just, sit the rest out because Echo Link is acting weird, that's fine, because it is sounding a little odd.
Yeah, I think I didn't really have much to say here-wise. Like I already said, all the choices for actors are good, and really we aren't talking about things that are besides Gordon, a.k.a. Uncle Fester, as was only discovered. I mean, what? Okay, kids, kind of learn. Well, okay, but I mean, there is, I guess, no character. Yeah, maybe. That I have no idea if it's even it has to work, so I'm just going to be listening, and thank you very much. Thank you, Bobby.
Okay, thanks, Jay. I got a bit of that. But yeah, it's acting really weird. I may check in and check with you on the third round and see if it's straightened itself up. Okay, thanks a lot. And next, the other bill, N5BB. What do you think, NV5?
This is N5BB. Yeah, I think the characterization and the acting was great. I really like them fitting into the parts so well. By the way, in like 1946 or so, Charles Adams met Ray Bradbury. And they had a long-term plan to work together on a project, but it never happened. The plan was for Charles Adams to draw some pictures for a project that Ray Bradbury was working on for a book, but never happened. But they knew each other and were friends. So that's interesting. I liked the movie. I liked the way it was put together. etc., and the way the characters interacted. So, I guess that's all I have. I liked it in 5BB.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Yeah, I mean, toward the end of the list can be kind of a double-edged thing where you can be reminded of things to say from other people, but then if you're too far down, you can realize there's just not a whole lot more you need to say. So, sounds good. And then at the very bottom of the list, we have KJ5GOT. John, do you have any comments that you would like to add based on what you've heard, or whether or not you would like to see this movie in B5F? Okay, nothing heard. I'm guessing John may have already moved on for the evening, so I don't have a whole lot else to say either. I've kind of interspersed my thoughts with everybody else's, so let's go back up to the top and discuss round 3 stuff briefly for everybody. Tony, NT5TM, do you have any third round thoughts on the Addams Family in B5F?
Well, shoot, maybe not. I think all the special effects came from the characters. I love little nudges like, let's play electric chair. But I don't remember any specific special effects or musical cues that made the movie better. I want to give all credit to the actors. NT5TM.
Okay, yeah, good acting and good everything else makes special effects kind of a background player as they should be. So let's move on to Tom, K5ICX. Round 3 thoughts. Expand on anything brilliant you've already said or add something new in V5F.
One thing I could mention that we could add to this is pacing. Surprisingly, considering all the rewrites that were done with the film, and there were some people who felt that this was not as good as it could have been, and maybe so. I don't know. I thought it was pretty darn entertaining. Pacing. Can you get through and do the scenes? And I think that it went well. There's always times when the film drags for whatever reason, and there's a requirement that they slow down and do something really boring, usually some sort of love interest that nobody cares about. Well, maybe somebody does, but I'm generally not one of those people. And it has a tendency to kind of like blow things out a little bit. There was none of that in the film. It just kept going, and it went well. Of course, the music bridged from scene to scene. As I mentioned earlier, I thought music was wonderful. Shaman did a great job. He's now doing all sorts of things on Broadway, and the last thing he did that was, well, he's done a number of things, but the one thing that most people recognize him for is for Hairspray. So if you've seen that film, or you know of the music from the show, that helped to create characterization and continuity, which is exactly what happened here. Helped with characterization and continuity, which I really, really enjoy, and that's one of my favorite things about what he does. So the music is a character in the film, and it provides structure to the film that it wouldn't have otherwise, and I think that's great. We have a tendency to underestimate music at times in films. I sometimes overestimate it, but I think in this case it really worked really well, and it helped to broaden and reinforce the spirit of the original series, and of course Charles Addams' characters as well. So those things all together, I think, really surprisingly, considering all the issues that they had, brought this film together, and it made it a success. Somehow or another, they made it work. And they were able to do it again in the sequel, although I understand it didn't make as much money as the first one. But even still, I thought the second film was quite good, and I enjoyed both of them. I'd watch them back-to-back anytime. KE5ICX.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Yeah, I miss the days when music was really, a film score was real music, and that there were themes for different characters or different aspects of the plot had specific themes, and we just don't do any of that beautiful. We don't have a whole lot of that pretty film music anymore. It's too bad. Okay, next we have KB9 SOK. Any third round thoughts for you, Sean, in D5F?
Yeah, it's KB9 SOK. Yeah, I'll just echo what everybody's already said. You know, the music was good. You know, they even kind of had fun with it in the film itself. When he was playing the organ during the one scene, they responded to stuff. But yeah, it's obviously the TV series theme is, everybody knows it when they hear it. It's very distinct, well done. I wish TV shows today still did real themes. I don't know why. It adds something to the show. I even added the Addams Family theme song to my Halloween light show this year. So yeah, enjoyed the music. You know, obviously there wasn't a lot of effects here, just some, you know, basic stunts. You know, I guess we had the hand. Obviously that was an effect. But yeah, obviously there wasn't much else. But it's okay. You know, it really wasn't that kind of film. So yeah, yep, everything was just well done. So yep, but as always, looking forward to the next one. Thanks for tuning in tonight, Virginia. KB9 SOK.
Sure, no problem. I enjoy it. And our net control from last week, W5BLT, what do you think of any third round or final thoughts or details you would like to add this evening in D5F?
Thank you, Virginia. The only thing I'll add is man, I would hate to be the movie company and you spend $30 million and you're so close, and then you sell it and it makes 7 times that. That's just wrong. But you know, it happens. Yeah, I really thought the music, you know, just blended in. It worked with the scenes, and you know, for me, it kind of helps me to get that emotion, maybe that the scenery, obviously being blind, is not giving me, you know, the visuals I miss. And you know, with 77 or 70% or 2/3 communication being non-visual, whatever that statistic is, or being visual, sorry, not, you know, that I miss a lot in that communication. And so the music helps with that. Also, I like the dialogue. Again, I go back to this ad nauseum, but the new films now, I don't know what they think they're doing, but bring up the audio. And I didn't have to strain to hear the audio or anything like that. And it just makes the movie so much more enjoyable. And hopefully these guys go back, start going back and looking at how things were done with the music and the audio and how it works. And I know we want to crank stuff out, but wow, you know, there's something to be said for good quality. So anyway, that's all I got. Appreciate everybody as always filling in some of the visuals that I missed. W5BLT. Back to you, Virginia.
Oh, okay, thank you, Bill. Yeah, I agree, and I think that good music helps, good audio production helps. What I don't like about modern movies is there seems to be this new philosophy that exposition is somehow wrong or hackneyed or cheesy old school way to do things, and I thoroughly disagree. If you're going to tell a complicated story in 2 hours or less, you need exposition, and the art of it is not that you don't do it, but that you do it in a way that it's not cumbersome and ponderous and obvious. And if you know how to write dialogue, then you can put your exposition in your dialogue. You can put some in your visuals, but I thoroughly disagree with how people write these terrible scripts that they think are so great because they're not using exposition, but then a person with an advanced degree has to go see a stupid movie that's 30 minutes too long, and you have to see it 3 times to understand what happened because there's no exposition. So that's my little soapbox this evening for how things used to be better, and I guess I'm now old enough to be. So anyway, thanks, Bill. Appreciate your thoughts. Let's see. I'm gonna skip Jay because Echolink is crazy tonight and might need to be looked at in time when that's when that can be done. And so let's go to the next bill, N5BD. Bill, do you have any last thoughts on the Addams Family?
No, I think I'm talked out. Thank you. Everybody, don't forget, set your clocks back if they're manual clocks in 5BB. Thanks, Virginia. Good evening.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And have you noticed how I'm trying to get us all out of here before midnight, even though we do get an extra hour of sleep? Well, let's see. John was a no-show on the last round. I'm guessing he's probably already gone. So it's just me, and my last comments are I can't think of a single way to tie this to 2001: A Space Odyssey, so I guess we'll just call it a night, and everybody gets to go about 13 minutes early, and appreciate everybody being here. Fun movie, easy movie to talk about, and Tom, are you still around? Do you want to tell us about next week's movie in V5F?
Yeah, indeed I will. Next week's movie is from 1981. It is called Earthbound. I'm double-checking to make sure it's still there over on the Pluto TV network. So that's our movie. I can't find the description of it here, but oh well. I'm sure it's a good film. We only watch good films. Earthbound from 1981. KE5ICX.
Okay, thank you. Earthbound from 1981. I haven't heard of it, and I remember seeing a lot of movies back in the day, so in 81, so I am curious what this movie is, and thank you very much, and thanks to all who participated in the Glowing Afterglow movie net, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday after your extra hour of sleep. Enjoy yourselves, and we will see you here next week for more of the same. And, you know, it might be good if this Earthbound is very interesting in whatever way it is, so we can just talk more about it. So everybody have a good night and a better tomorrow, and I hope it rains. That'll be it for us here at the Afterglow. 7-3 everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening in V5F.
W5BLT, I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you're not gotten your fill of Halloween-type movies, if you have an Amazon Prime, War of the Worlds, the 1953 version is there. And on YouTube, you have the War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise from 2005, which is there that you can watch for free. And so if you still want to continue, for me it's always a Halloween tradition watching those movies, both of them now. Just want to let you all know that it's out there. W5BLT.
I wonder why Chevy Chase didn't do a Halloween movie. Oh well. Virginia, good job tonight, thanks. And Bill, I have a statement for you if you're still online.